of people ask me why I talk about the mental load so much and why I'm so passionate about this topic. And I received an email from one of my followers this week about her experience with the mental load and her marriage of 40 plus years. And she gave me permission to share it with you. And I'm going to do that now because this is why I am so passionate about the mental load. She said, "My husband, who passed away a few years ago, was the typical guy of his generation, and I was the typical woman of mine. We married in 1980. We both had stay-at-home mothers who never worked outside of the home, and our dads would work 2 jobs to provide for the family. The worlds of husband and wife, mom and dad, never overlapped. I'm frequently surprised any of those marriages survived. So we had the same standards in our relationship, created by the expectations of a full-time house parent, without the benefit of me being one. I did everything and worked a more than full-time executive job, while my husband did episodic things like call the bank or handle a repair. He was never responsible for any daily chores. No cooking, no meal planning, no laundry, no cleaning. I don't believe he ever took the kids to school or daycare even once, and we had 3 kids. He basically just went to work and came back. He was the typical man of the times in that he couldn't read my mind, and he would say that I should just tell him what I wanted him to do. But I had no vocabulary to describe the mental load or any way to discuss it. It always just evolved into a fight where he called me a nag and controlling, and so I just gave up. I did everything so that our lives could run in an orderly manner. Our kids would get to the doctor and the dentist. They would have clean clothes and meals and birthday parties, sign permission slips, and we would not be fighting all the time. I would say things to him like, if I have to remind you that it's Wednesday and the garbage needs to go out, then it's still my job. And he didn't get that, even though the garbage was collected on Wednesdays for 30 years. Or I would say, if I have to point out that the wastebasket is so full that it's overflowing onto the floor, it's still my job. Or the dog's water dish is empty and the poor dog is circling looking for a drink, and so on and so on. But I didn't have the essential vocabulary that you have demonstrated to us about the mental load and decision fatigue. He would even ask me what I wanted to do for my birthday, undoubtedly thinking he was being a good husband and being willing to do whatever I wanted, when all I could think was, oh great, now I have to plan my own birthday too? When he got sick, I felt all of this resentment come to the forefront. I thought, wow, I took care of you all of your life, and now I will take care of you in death. And that sounds so harsh. I really did love him, and he was a good man, and we had lots of fun and romance in our long marriage. But the resentment was there because we had never resolved it. And I cared for him until his death, ensuring he was cared for well with compassion and dignity. I hope that if he had lived longer and in good health, we would have been able to have a wholesome conversation about workload inequities. And maybe he could have explained to me how he, a man who truly loved me and our family, was okay with me doing 98% of the work of a household and a family, and how he was okay with his responsibilities being so small in comparison. That I would have maybe had the maturity and the vocabulary to have this conversation in life, because now I am having it with him after his death. I honestly couldn't believe how strong these feelings were. I suppose they were unresolved, and now that I'm a widow and a retiree, I have so much time to reflect in a way that I really didn't when all I could do was keep the wheels on the bus before. If I bring this up to any of my friends, we're off to the races, and their experience mirrors my own. And yet, I have one dear friend whose husband clears the table without being asked, and he loads the dishwasher without being asked, and he takes out the garbage without being asked, and so on. So I know it can be done. It just still seems so rare. So maybe my point of this very long email is that I would encourage all women who are struggling with this to have these conversations with your partner now, while you're both young and healthy and able to learn and adjust and work together for an equitable solution. Use the vocabulary you have about the mental load and domestic labor. Don't give in to resentment. Don't let it fester. Don't decide it's easier for you to do it yourself. And I hope that men will really listen to their partners and push aside those feelings of defensiveness and dig deep for empathy. I hope we can do this. We should be able to do better after all this time.